Hi everybody, I want to talk about polymorphism and what it means for inherited in classes. To first talk about it, I want to explain something that it's like, which is overloading functions. It's basically the same thing, uh, and we remember that because right, our functions, these are some examples of overloading of functions, and overloading of functions basically, as long as the compiler can tell the difference between them, you could have functions with the same name on them. They just have to have something different about the parameters that are passed in, right? So like this first one is function with no parameters, right? And then the next one has an integer I. Well, that has a different number of parameters than this one. Now this has the same number of parameters, but the second and the third one, but it's a different type, right? So this one has string S, whereas this one has int I. Then this one has and we have a typo, so we'll fix that. The we have one where it has a different number of them again, and then this one has the same number, but they're in a different order. So the compiler can look at all 5 of these and distinguish which one's which, right? Which one you're calling depending upon what parameter you pass in. It knows, oh, if you pass in no parameters, it knows to call the first function. If you pass in a string and then an int, it knows to call the last one. Well, inheritance has a similar thing, and it knows by which class is calling the item, right? So if you have class A and you have a print function that says print A, and then you have a class B that is a child of A, and you say print, and it's going to say print B, when you go to create these, if you create a class A, it's going to print out A. If you print a class B, it's going to print out B. So let's go see this in action. So if you watched my functions in inheritance video, you'll remember that we created the print class. Now this print class is what polymorphism is all about, right? We have the same print from two different types of classes, and because of it, but they print out different things, right? So this mypc.print, it goes and finds the print from the computer class, and the computer class says, okay, print name, RAM, and the how much RAM it has, right? And then the laptop has its own print, and it says my laptop has, and it gives you the RAM in that. And so since it has the exact same name in it, the system knows to call depending upon what class you're calling it from. So this knows that it's my laptop, so it's going to go and get it from the laptop class. And this is my PC. It knows it's a computer, so it's getting it from the computer class. So that's in essence what polymorphism is being able to, it's like overriding functions, but for classes. So if I wanted to have similar things, but have it do different functionality, you could have the same name, and it doesn't even have to have different amount of parameters. It's just whatever class it's calling it from.